You leave small nuggets of information that I think will be really important later. Great work on building up, on the build-up and foreshadowing. It's the beginning of December, and I recently finished NaNoWriMo. So now I'm going back to start editing a project that has been resting for a few months, and I am going to go through some of the feedback from my editor. And I wanted to share this experience with you guys to just take you on the journey of like what it's like getting feedback from a professional editor. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. I haven't looked at this manuscript for, I don't know, probably 6 months or something. So this is really me like looking at it with fresh eyes, hopefully. So hopefully I won't be as biased as I tend to be after, like when I'm in the middle of a manuscript. This is why I try to let manuscripts rest and, pick up an older project again. So the nonfiction that I wrote for NaNoWriMo is going to rest. I don't know for how long before I do the first edit, but it's going to rest for at least for a month because I need to get some distance from it, because right now everything's so like I'm not sure what's in my head or what's in the actual text. So I need to get some distance from that. And which means that it's perfect time to do some editing of an old project. So yeah, now I'm gonna open the document here. Let's start. I'm nervous. Okay, the first comment is, why would she stop? Why would she stop when she passed by other people? Which is a very fair question here. Because I wrote that she passed a bunch of other fairies on the way but didn't stop. So that is a very fair point here. And also another question she asks is, did the other fairies not react to the sound that they heard, or why did she react and not the other ones? Which is a very fair point. I'm gonna need to rewrite this quite a bit, I think. Let me see here. Oh, interesting. Yeah, and also here's another comment. Quite a few sentences, too many of the sentences actually begin with the MC's name here, which is, of course, is a fair point because it's her POV, so I need to change that as well. And I also realized that I should probably make like a map of the place here, because right now I can see that the editor is a little bit confused over the layout of. So the manuscript that I'm reading now, it takes place in the magical library, huge library. So yeah, I'm gonna have to redo this a little bit, I think. But to get some context, I think I need to reread the manuscript as well. I haven't reread it in 6 months, so. Ooh. Let me see here. I'm gonna add a comment myself, I think. Show, don't tell is what I'm gonna write to myself. Don't tell. There's this really funny comment here, because the manuscript is about books and it has a lot of like symbolism to writers and stuff like that. So here's a comment that is the life of a writer. I think that's funny that she also understands the book pun and that she didn't think that it was bad. So I see that there are like a lot of things that I need to stay more consistent with, like is the creature a creature? Is it a monster? Is it a bear? Is it a so that is something I'm going to have to fix, of course. Feedback is quite good. I don't see any big red flags yet, but I'm going to continue go through and see what happens. So it's day 2 of reading through the feedback of my fantasy project, and I'm here with my writing group online. super nice to have some company in the morning. But like something that a few beta readers has actually told me now is that the first chapter is almost like it has too much suspense. So it's too much going on, and it's like too much in medias res, too much happening. So I might have to switch chapter 1 and chapter 2 so that the action comes a little bit later. As a reader, I'm fairly restless and I want things to happen pretty quickly. So this actually surprised me quite a bit because, there's no surprise that I wrote a chapter that has too much suspense, because I love reading books that has a lot of suspense and a lot of like action and things happening, despite writing fantasy. So that surprised me a little bit, but it's very exciting. I'm gonna continue working now. Good morning. I am still reading the editor's comments and feedback, and it's going well so far. And like one thing that I do notice is that I wrote this manuscript really, really fast. I think I wrote it in like 2 months, the rough draft, and then I just edited it 2 times and sent it to the editor. So my process with this manuscript was a lot faster than my usual process. And, that shows, of course, in the writing, because I actually wrote it when I had some time off from work to write full time and study writing at university. That is something that shines through. So just checked in with my writing group. We hang out and write together. Yeah, almost each morning. You can attend whichever you want. So I attend those that I can when I'm not working from home. That's great. And I'm going to talk about feedback more later. But right now I need to keep on going through the feedback from my editor. So I'll check in with you soon. It's been about a week now since I started reading the feedback from my editor, and I'm finished. Yay! So soon it's time to start editing it, and I'm actually super duper excited. I can't wait to start editing it and making it better. And like some of the feedback I got was quite harsh, because this manuscript I actually wrote a lot faster than previous ones that I've sent to the editor. And like the fact that I hadn't edited it as much as I usually do, I guess that could show. That showed a lot more this time around. But the great thing is that like now I know all of the mini plot holes and stuff like that. So it would be a lot faster and easier for me to edit it now from the feedback, because some of the plot holes that she saw, I actually hadn't noticed myself. Some of them I knew were there and I knew I had to fix them, but still it feels great. And like one of the comments that I got from her was that, oh my God, the time is ticking, it's getting more and more excited. I love the fact that you're so good at writing like the dramaturgical curve or whatever you call it. So that's exciting. And basically the manuscript that I've sent to her, it's a high fantasy, a spin-off to the Forbidden Circle series that I'm working on. And it has like three characters that you follow throughout the book. So it's basically like 3 stories paralleled, intertwining and mixing, and like they're very dependent on each other, but you follow them in separate places. And yeah, that was a lot of fun to write it. If you want, I can talk a bit more about how I planned the story and how I did that, but I think that's actually made the story more exciting, hopefully. But I'm gonna read some of the feedback that I got for you now. Well, one of the comments was that the plot unravels too fast, and she wants to get to know the character a little bit more before moving on to the next thing happening. And I get that. I know that I've written this one too fast and that it has to become longer than it already is. And another comment that I got was, because one of the fays says that there was a vampire in the library. You know how dangerous that is, considering what our blood can do. And the editor's comment was that you leave small nuggets of information that I think will be really important later. Great work on building up, on the build-up and foreshadowing. And that makes me happy because that was actually a really important nugget for like later in the story. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, my reactions to the editor's comment, like now I've written for so many years that I'm quite accustomed to getting feedback. I get a lot of feedback in my work too. So for me, getting feedback is not that hard. It's not something I am that afraid of, but it can still be hard because writing, that's my, that's our little baby, and it's a little bit scary, but I think that it's super duper important to get external feedback, especially if you want to go the indie write and self-publish. But even despite that, because we tend to get so blinded by our own darlings and blinded by our own text, that getting a professional editor to help with the development or getting beta readers. Because the thing is, like, when you write the text, I see this a lot with my own texts as well. Because I know everything about the story, everything about history, subplots and all of that. But the thing is, the reader don't. And if I haven't written out something that is very, very clear to me, like the reader might miss it because they don't know it. And those are things that makes like beta readers and editors and stuff like that super important for me, because of course I'll be a little bit blinded by my own text because I know too much about it. So just getting the reader's perspective is one of the key points for why I think feedback is super important. And if you're thinking about like when should I ask for external help, of course this depends on how much experience you have with writing and stuff like that. But for me, I usually write the first draft and then I edit once or twice just to make it a lot better. This time I sent it to the editor a bit earlier than usually, but usually I'll edit it as much as I can and then I'll send it to an editor and beta readers so that I have made the text the best it can be, and then they'll help me to elevate it even more. So that depends a little bit on you, but make sure so that you've done some of the editing already and some of the groundwork, because that's how you can elevate the text even more. And another thing that makes getting feedback super important is that, like, the external, the person who hasn't written the text, they will see details that you don't see. They might see themes that you don't see, and they will also get better view of the story structure. Like if you've nailed it perfect or if you haven't, because that can also be really, really hard for you, like for you to tell if it's there or not. Because even if you've planned it out beforehand, that doesn't necessarily mean that it works in the story. Like there can always be something that needs the fixing that you don't see. So getting external eyes helps a lot with that. And I would say that feedback is what will help you get a much better manuscript, and it will also prepare your book and your product for the market. So if there's something that isn't working in your manuscript, you want to know that before you publish, of course. And if there's something that could feel like offensive to someone or something like that, then it's super important to know that before you release the book to the market. Because honestly, like, reviewers can be really harsh in the comments. So it's super important for you to know that beforehand. And yeah, I mean, my recommendation, if you can, get a professional editor to help you with the developmental stuff, especially in the beginning of your career, because there's always a lot that we can improve. And if you can't afford that, then get beta readers and tell them what kind of help you need with your manuscripts. Let me know what you think, and please leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.